Hi everyone, it's Carissa again. So in our last video, and I definitely recommend you go back and watch it if you haven't yet, in our last video we looked at a solid granny square, this one here on the left. Now we're going to talk about how we can tweak this a little bit to turn this square into a diamond. So it has two pointier corners and two shallower corners. And it's a very similar process, but definitely has a couple of unique features to it. So in the square, we were working the same corner unit in each of the four corners. It was 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. In this diamond here, we're going to steal a couple of the double crochets from the shallow corners and add them to the pointier corners. We're also going to replace 2 of the double crochets in the pointy corners with treble crochets, so it gives it a little bit more height and makes those corners just stretch out just a little bit more. So let's look at how to do that. Once again, I'm going to start out with a magic ring. So I'm going to hold my yarn tail between my fingers here, between my thumb and my middle finger. I'm going to wrap the yarn around my first 2 fingers, cross it with itself, and then go parallel to the first strand across the tops of my fingers. I'll hold that in place with my ring finger as I grab my hook. I'm going to take my hook under the first strand, grab the second, pull that through under the first strand and give it a bit of a twist to make a loop on my hook. I'm going to hold that loop in place with my index finger while I slide my other 2 fingers out of the magic ring. And now we have that magic ring is nice and loose. It's basically a slip knot that we haven't pulled the knot tight yet, but we'll be able to pull that tail later and tighten that up when we're ready. I'm going to take my yarn here. I'm going to start my round 1 with a chain 3. And again, this chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And I'm going to use my handy stitch marker here. And again, I'm going to put this under both legs of that third chain, the chain right underneath my crochet hook. I'm going to lock that in place. And that way I will keep track of that, the top of that chain 3, when I come back around to it at the end of this round and I need to join my rounds. So that first chain 3 counts as a double crochet. I'm going to work another double crochet into the magic ring. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now in the square we worked a third double crochet, but for the diamond I want to add a little extra height for the pointier corners, so I'm going to do a treble crochet here instead. So I'll wrap my yarn around my hook twice before I insert my hook into the magic ring, yarn over and draw up a loop. So now I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 a third time. So you can see that last stitch that I worked is just a little bit taller than the stitch before it, the double crochet versus the treble crochet. And now I have a corner to make, so I'm going to chain 2. And now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to start with a treble crochet and then go down to double crochets as I get closer to what's going to become one of the shallow corners, one of the less pointy corners. So I'll start with a treble crochet, wrap my yarn around my hook twice, insert my hook into the magic ring, yarn over and draw up a loop, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2 3 times in a row to complete that treble crochet. Now I'm going to work 2 double crochets, so just yarn over once, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 twice, and do that again for another double crochet. So that gives me 3 stitches for the second side of my diamond. I'm going to chain 2 for my next corner, and now we're going to work our way up again to a treble crochet. So we're going to work 2 doubles and then a treble. So yarn over once for my double crochet and another one. Yarn over twice and work a treble crochet into the magic ring. Now we've reached the other pointy corner. We're going to chain 2, and now we're going to work our way down again. So starting with a treble crochet, wrap twice, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 times in a row, and now 2 double crochets. So we'll just yarn over once for our double crochets and a second one. There we go. So now we have 4 clusters of 3 stitches each, but some of them are trebles, so they're a little bit taller than the double crochets. Now we can take that tail of our magic ring and pull that to tighten the magic ring. I'm going to brace that with my thumb so I can pull pretty tight. And now to finish round 1, I want to join to the top of the chain 3 that we put our stitch marker in. But instead of working a chain 2 and then doing a slip stitch to join, that would leave my hook attached over here on the left hand side. I want my hook to be attached at the middle of the chain space instead. So I'm going to use a half double crochet in place of this last chain 2. So I'll yarn over my hook and insert my hook into that top of that chain 3 where my stitch marker is. And it might be a little bit tight because it's a chain and not the top of a regular stitch. But I'm going to go under both legs of that chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 to finish my half double crochet. So now I've created that last corner chain space, but my hook is attached to the middle of that chain space instead of over here on the left hand side. Now I can remove my stitch marker. I'm done with that for right now. So now that's the end of round 1. We have 3 stitches on each side of our diamond, but this one, this one, this one, and this one are treble crochets, so they're a little bit taller, creating our slightly pointier corners for our diamond. And as we add more treble crochets, that's just going to get accentuated more and more. So now for row 2, we're going to start with a chain 3 again, which still counts as a double crochet. We're going to put our stitch marker back in the top of that for later. And now with the square, we started out with a double crochet in this chain space, but for the diamond, we're actually going to steal that double crochet from this shallow corner and add it to the corner unit for the pointy corner instead, to add more, to have more increases on the pointy corners than we do on the shallow corners. So rather than working a double crochet into that chain space, I'm going to skip that and go straight to working a double crochet in the top of each of the stitches across this side of the diamond. So I'll start with a double crochet in the top of this chain 3, the same place that I just put that half double crochet, and I'm going to work over my tail at the same time so as not to have to weave in that end later on. So I'll work a double crochet, yarn over my hook, insert into the top of that chain 3 that counts as a double, and I'm also going to make sure that my tail is going over my crochet hook as well. And now as I draw up a loop, I'm going to go under the tail and back through both legs of that stitch. So I still have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I've completed my first double crochet in the top of that chain 3 from the round below, and I encased my tail in that stitch as well. So I'm going to keep doing that, grabbing the tail all the way around until I run out of the tail. So I'm going to continue working a double crochet in each of the stitches across this side. So yarn over, insert into the next stitch and under the tail there. Draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and one more under the stitch and the tail, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I've reached the first chain space here for my corner, and this is one of the pointier corners. So we're going to take that double crochet that we stole from this first chain space, and we're going to add it to this corner unit as well. And we're also going to keep with the treble crochet on either side of the chain 2 space too, so it adds that extra height. So what that looks like is 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, chain 2, treble crochet, and 2 more double crochets all into this chain 2 space of this corner. So double crochet, and again we're working around the tail every time, which is optional. If you would prefer to weave in the tail manually later, you can absolutely do that. We're going to work a second double crochet. Now a treble crochet, so we'll wrap twice, pull up a loop for 4 loops on my hook, and yarn over and pull through 2 3 times in a row. Now we'll chain 2 for our new corner chain space, yarn over twice and create another treble crochet, and then 2 more double crochets. And all of this is going into that same corner chain space from the row below. So we have all of that 6 stitches and the chain 2 all into that same chain space. Now we're going to work a double crochet in each of the stitches across this side of our diamond. So I'm going to go into that first stitch there and under the tail and work a double crochet. And another one in the next stitch, and another one in the next stitch. Now we've reached the shallow corner, so we stole a double crochet from here to add to the pointier corner. So instead of working 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets like we did on the square, for the shallow corner of the diamond, we're actually going to work 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then just 1 double crochet afterward as well. So we're increasing a lot less for these shallow corners than we are for the pointier corners. So 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more double crochet into that shallow corner. Now we're going to work a double crochet into each stitch along this side of the diamond. And I've still got some tail left, so I'm still going to be working around that tail as I go. One more under the tail. My tail's getting pretty short though, so it's getting a little harder to deal with. Now we've reached the other pointy corner. So again, we're going to do the same thing that we did over here. 2 double crochets, treble crochet, chain 2, treble, and 2 doubles, all into this chain space. And I'm going to try to work them all around that tail as well and get the last bits of that tail encased. So double crochet and another double crochet, and then a treble crochet, so we'll wrap twice, and then pull through 2 3 times in a row, chain 2, another treble crochet, so we'll wrap twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 3 times, 2 more double crochets, still into that corner chain space. Now we're finished with that second pointy corner, and I've just barely got any tail left, so I'm just going to leave that hanging to the back. I can come back and snip that off with my scissors afterward. I've got enough of that tail woven in that it's pretty secure. So I'm going to finish off the last side of my diamond here with a double crochet in each of these 3 stitches. So go into that first stitch there. That tail is kind of getting in the way. All right, we'll do 1 more stitch around the tail. There we go. And a double crochet in the next stitch. And a double crochet in the last stitch. And now we have come back to our beginning chain space. So that chain 3 that we worked here counts as a double crochet. So if we want, in this chain space, we want a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, we've already got the second double crochet in the form of this chain 3. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in that chain space on this side of it. And then in lieu of the chain 2, we're going to work a half double crochet to join to the top of this chain 3. So yarn over, insert our hook in the same place where that stitch marker is. There we go. Yarn over, draw up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And now we've created our final chain space for this shallow corner as well. And that is looking a little bit more like a diamond with every round. So now I'm done with the stitch marker for the moment. So now for, let's look at round 2 first before we move on. So we started out with 3 stitches on each side of the diamond in round 1, and it was double, double, treble, treble, double, 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 treble, treble, double, double. So we had trebles on either side of the pointy corners. For round 2, we added an extra double crochet in the shallow corners, and then we worked 2 doubles and a treble on each side of the pointy corner here. So we end up with point with something skinnier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches on each side of our diamond. And the very last stitch on either side of the pointy corner is a treble crochet to give it a little bit more height. All right, now let's move on to round 3. And this is going to be worked exactly like we worked round 2, except that we have more stitches across the side of the diamond to work a double crochet into, but otherwise it's exactly the same. So we're going to chain 3. That counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to mark the top of that with our stitch marker. And we're not going to work another double crochet into this chain space. We're going to start by working a double crochet into the first stitch, which is actually the chain 3 from the row below. So we're going to work a double crochet right there at the top of the chain 3. And we're going to work a double crochet in the top of each of those stitches across the first side of our diamond. And now we have reached the pointy corner. So here again, we're going to work 2 double crochets, treble crochet, chain 2, treble crochet, and 2 more double crochets, all in this chain space in the corner. So 1 double, 2 doubles, a treble, so we'll wrap twice, yarn over and pull through 2 3 times, chain 2, another treble crochet, and 2 more double crochets. Now we'll work a double crochet in each stitch across this side of the diamond. So you can see how it's exactly like we worked row 2, but when I say work a double crochet at each stitch across the side of the diamond, there's just more stitches on each side of the diamond now, so there's more double crochets to be worked in that space in between the corners. But the pattern is exactly the same. One more. Now we've reached another shallow corner chain space, so we're only going to work 1 double crochet, and then a chain 2, and then 1 double crochet into this chain space. Double crochet in each stitch across the side of the diamond. And now we've reached the other pointy corner. So we'll work 2 double crochets, one treble crochet, chain 2, 1 more treble crochet, 2 double crochets. Oops. There we go. All into that chain space. Okay, double crochet in each of these stitches across this side. And now we've come back to our beginning chain space. And again, we've already got 1 double crochet, which is actually a chain 3 on this corner. So we're going to work 1 more double crochet and connect them. Instead of a chain 2, we're going to connect them with a half double crochet in that top chain where our stitch marker is placed. Yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. And now there's our final chain space. So to continue, we're just going to work that same pattern again. Each shallow corner gets a double crochet, a chain 2, and a double crochet, and each pointy corner gets 2 doubles, a treble, chain 2, 1 treble, and 2 doubles. So it makes that diamond a little bit pointier on the corners than it is on these corners. And when we're done, we'll snip our yarn, pull that through the last loop, and we'll be done with our solid granny diamond instead of a square. I hope you found this helpful.